All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of Hustle and Highlight. Today we're going to be talking about salon stereotypes and if us as hairstylists in the industry are glamorizing being a hairstylist slash salon owner or if we're just breaking the mold. So let's get into it. Go with your questions.
I do have lots of questions. I feel like just to touch on that, like the title and the subject, it's easy to glamorize a hairstylist's life because all they see is social media, right? And it's very rare when people share their losses or like are true and authentic to like
the hard times.
Yeah. So seeing all the things that we like receive or our branding image might be glamorized as well. It looks glamorized.
Yeah.
It looks more beautiful than it is.
Yeah. It's not necessarily a reflection of your clientele or the prices you're charging or your bank account necessarily. So I guess that answers that question. I feel like it's like completely, in my opinion, I feel like it's completely glamorized.
And a lot of it has to do with social media and like
the branding photos and the flashy, like, oh, look at my purse, look at my
car,
designer clothing, look at my car, whatever it may be. But it's like, if that's not a true reflection of like maybe like your clientele or your bank account or like what's actually happening, then I think we could say that's glamorized.
And a lot of people think that like, oh, now, growing up, we've talked about this before, growing up, your parents wanted you to go to college and do the like, cookie cutter routine, but that obviously wasn't for us. And they were like, they kind of believed like that we wouldn't make it being a hairstylist pretty much, like that doesn't pay the bills. And, that's just like a hobby and like that's just for fun.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, there's low margins and you have to hustle to get where you are, but like finding a niche and something that you're passionate about, like just blonding or just extensions or whatever it may be, is really helpful in growing your business as a hairstylist and becoming successful.
Yeah. I feel like when you figure out what your niche is, you can really hone in on that one thing and become like, for lack of a better term, an expert at it.
Yeah.
And I think that that's helpful too, because then you can kind of raise your prices and essentially
accordingly, right?
Yeah, have a larger profit margin. And I think this is something they need to teach in cosmetology school, is like the financials when it comes to this industry, because for me, I figured it out the hard way, and sometimes it's rough because, a lot of people don't realize that we are running a business here. And as much as we want to do your hair for like free because we love you so much, we cannot.
Absolutely.
It's our livelihood. Like, this is how we pay our bills. You may go to work every day, work a 8 or 9 to 5, and that's how you pay your bills. This is how we pay ours. So if we're not making at least a 20% profit margin, it's really like, we're not going to make it very long.
At least.
Yeah. And with the cost of everything these days too, it is expensive. Like I put $1,200 worth of hair on someone's head, my cost the other day. Yeah. And so, and it's so crazy too, because I have these people like, oh, well, so-and-so said she could do it for like $600. And I'm like, where? How?
Yeah. Like how where are you buying your hair?
Temu. You're getting hair on Temu and it's not okay. It's Halloween costume hair. That's how I feel.
I think that as far as the schooling goes, that is really important. They should do that. Like teaching back end stuff is so important, because I never learned that. They just teach you like the cookie cutter, like basic highlight and like keeping your station clean and like
how
stuff
to
for
how
to pass state board and continued education. That's where that comes into play. It's like making sure that, you're set up for success and you're not going to drown, because you can easily.
Yeah, it's very easy. That's what I had a hard time in the beginning of my career, was like, oh, I just want to do like all my friends' hair for free. And like, it's fun. And yay,
every once in a while, I get it, like a model call. But like even then though, like product is expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, a box of foils is almost $30 now.
Yeah.
It's insane.
It's crazy. Yeah. And just like I was saying, hair, extension hair itself is so expensive. And it's
Yeah.
like, if you want the quality and you want your hair to last and you want it to look good and natural, the price has to match. Like
Yeah.
we can't have a Halloween wig budget and a champagne taste. You know what I mean? Like it's just like it doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think with all that to be said, I still feel like the industry is a bit glamorized because of the branding photos and like the lifestyle that is portrayed through social media when it comes to being a hairstylist or salon owner. It's
Yeah.
like everyone wants to put like all these like fancy things out there, but like I don't know, I've said this before. Is that what's actually happening in their real life, or is
Yeah.
that just what they want you to see through social media?
Exactly. And that's where breaking the mold comes into play, is like being authentic and true to yourself and being super transparent with your clients
Right.
and sharing the journey. Cause like we've said this before, going from black to blonde, like there's processes in between that a lot of people don't show, or, things like that. It doesn't happen in one session. That's just next to impossible. And yeah, I just feel like some people just don't share the nitty gritty and like get down to the dirty work.
Right. And it's hard too because as, like as a business owner, there's a fine line. Where can you show the things that are like not so glamorous?
Yeah.
Because you also don't want to come off.
Like you're also running a business.
Right. You're also running a business and there's a somewhat of a need, I guess, to stay looking professional. But I feel like in today's world, people appreciate the transparency and like the not so great moments sprinkled in. I'm not saying like share those all the time because that could come off like very complainy and just kind of like, oh, now she's just a Karen. So she's negative. I don't want to go to her. So I don't know. I feel like there's a fine line between, obviously you want to share like the pretty things, right? Like a super big like before and after transformation, but you don't want to always be so like dark and like negative.
You remember that trend that was going around? It was like what people think salon owners show up to work, and then like the
how they actually show up.
Yeah, they show up with like someone gives them a coffee, grabs their coat, and like walks them in, and then how they actually show up. Yeah, and they're just like begging for dear life.
It's pretty accurate.
It's so accurate.
I would say. I don't know.
Yeah, and how do you feel like that has a toll on your mental health, like being a salon owner? SOS.
So blink twice if you need help. No, just kidding. Kinda.
No, she's not.
I would say I don't think the part where people expect me to show up like professional and glamorous all the time, like that part doesn't like
unrealistic.
I don't feel the pressure there anymore. When I first opened the salon, probably for the first like 3-4 years, I did. But now, after having like 2 kids and like a lot of other responsibilities outside of the salon, I don't feel the pressure as far as those things go. So like that doesn't really take a toll on my mental health so much. Do I want to show up professional and ready to go all the time? Absolutely. Some days it's like we're just fighting for our life. We're surviving, not thriving, and showing up is where we're gonna just
get the day started.
Yeah.
You put one foot in front of the other.
Yeah, we made it there. We're having a good day. And other days we're like top tier at the top of our game and we just don't miss. And it's just, it's just life. It's just like ebbs and flows. Exactly. And so that part doesn't really take a toll on my mental health. What does, I would say, is like worrying about if all the stylists are happy or if I'm, as a salon owner, meeting their needs, or like, oh my God, we ran out of toilet paper. How can I let that happen? Like those little things that like might sound like little things, like those really are like make me feel like, oh my God, maybe I wasn't cut out for this type of thing.
Which is absolutely ridiculous.
It is so stupid. And I have so many people all the time tell me like, oh, you're so hard on yourself. And I am, but like.
I feel like that's where you grow though.
I feel like I have gotten pretty far being hard on myself.
Yeah, yeah. And I think it's a beautiful thing that we all get along so
Yeah.
well. And like you found a great group of girls that
Yeah.
click very well, you know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
that's helpful in itself. I mean, I can only imagine like having, I mean, and thank the Lord our salon is the size it is too. Can you
Yeah.
imagine if it was any bigger and we had more girls? That's just more energy and more stuff you
Right.
have to mesh together. And that's where like, you know, even with like the tattoo shop, it's so big. It's like you have to fill in
Mm-hmm.
these spots and like
Bigger is not
finding new
always better.
people and all this stuff. Yeah, bigger's not always better.
Yeah, I would say, yeah. I mean, do I wish the salon was a little bit bigger than 900 square feet? Yeah, I do.
I
It's a
love the little space.
it gets a little squishy sometimes, but it is cozy. And I am so incredibly picky about who works there, to be
Yeah.
honest. I mean, I am because of that, because
Yeah.
it just takes one bad apple to spoil the bunch, you
Yeah.
know? And so, yeah, I think that having a good team is
Essential.
detrimental to a salon survival.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like what does a realistic like brain what does a realistic like sustainable salon life look like for you?
I mean, like, I feel like there's so many ways to approach that question.
Yeah.
I think, I think what we have going is pretty good.
Yeah.
I think what is really nice with you guys is that obviously in the past like year or so we've made a lot of changes and like changing back to like, you know, like
different
changing
ways,
here and changing
like
there
what
and
doesn't
like
work for.
yeah, but I would say like communication is huge. Like if we just have, I mean, it's just like a relationship.
Yeah. No, exactly.
If, you know, the communication is there and the transparency is there, like, hey, this isn't working out. We're going to go back in this direction. Or like, hey, I had this idea. What do you guys think about it?
Yeah.
Or if someone else has an idea, I'm always open for
All ears.
constructive. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if there's something that one of the stylists thinks could better the salon in some way or make something easier for everyone, I'm all about it. Like I will listen and consider everybody's ideas. I mean, I think that that goes hand in hand with communication and just being open.
Yeah.
You know.
And that's what's funny about the salon too is like we're pretty much like sisters. So like we will bluntly say something to each other and it may come off as rude, but we can take it. You know what I mean? Like that's one beautiful thing about each other. We could take the smart assness.
Yeah, the group message gets a little spicy sometimes.
Yeah.
Like,
but that's how we grow and that's how we learn. It's like, okay, like maybe you didn't clean the toner bottle enough one day, you know?
Okay. If you're a salon owner and you're listening to this, please, for the love of God, tell me about your toner bottles and like, what do you like? I stopped using toner bottles because I'm such a weirdo about how clean they are. Tell me what you tell your team.
If you're doing a bright blonde and there's freaking 1B inside there stuck,
like a red
you know,
or a copper, it scares me. I can't. So I just mix my toner in a bowl now.
Yeah.
Hint, hint.
So what are some like hidden struggles as being a salon owner that you deal with or you come up to?
I would say since really since 2020 happened, each year I think that the price of everything just goes up significantly more than it used to. And so that's really, I feel like that's been kind of a struggle lately to basically break down numbers and make them make sense. Like the math has to be mathin'.
Yeah. And well, not only that, like as far as like things going up, like your rent goes up, so then you have to charge us a little bit more. So having that conversation with the girls and like, I'm sure that's hard.
Yeah. And it's like, you know, it's like, yeah, the rent and the PG&E and the price of back bar and like all the things go up, you know what I mean? And so it's like, and on top of that, you know, we have to maintain like this essentially like we got to break even, right? At least. And then it's like adding more things on, like our booking system.
Well, you have to make at least something, right?
Yeah. I mean, like, again, it's just like you guys, like, we're in business for a reason, right? Like, we're in business to make money. We do love our career and we're blessed in that way to had taken this path and like taken the punches along the way. But at the end of the day, yeah, you're running a business and it's your livelihood again, and you have to you got to pay the bills,
Yeah.
you know,
And
like
I feel like as a booth renter or a commissioned stylist and working under someone that owns a salon, they need to be more appreciative and more communicative on like having a more relationship with the salon owner. Because then if you don't, then why are you there? You know what I
it's,
mean?
yeah, when it becomes purely transactional, I feel like that's when people probably get a little resentful or they just don't understand like
The work it's put in,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
They don't
And that's
appreciate it.
not to say like as a salon owner, you should be like, well, I'm doing XYZ. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's like to have a clear understanding of like everyone plays their roles, right? And you just have to, again, like a relationship, you just have to understand like this is your role, this is your role, this is your role. Like we all have to play our role for things to run smoothly and for us to stay open and sustain like, you know, a quote unquote luxury setting like we're here for.
Yeah.
So I think, you know, I think that's important too. Just to be open in certain ways, but also not to be like, you know, our PG&E bill was this much this month. Like that's, in my opinion, unnecessary. But,
Yeah.
yeah.
So what would you tell like another salon owner if they came to you and asked like, hey, like pretty much like maybe a team member isn't like clicking. How would you go about that?
Well, I have had some salon owners ask me about this, so that's funny.
That's why I asked that because I feel like you've had a lot of meetings with different
Yeah,
salon
which is
owners.
so weird because I love that people reach out because I think that salon ownership it's just hard and you know like women as individuals we're just emotional beings and
Yeah.
it's sometimes it's hard. Like I feel like we don't really have a hard time with that just because we're so open and so close and because everyone gets their little spiciness out in the group
Yeah.
message sometimes. Like I feel like we all understand that we need that. But I don't know if there's like an unhappy team member or stylist or essentially the way I feel is if you don't want to be there, then just don't.
Yeah.
Just don't be there. I think that I mean especially in this little town there's so many salons. There's so much opportunity to go and be happy elsewhere.
Yeah.
And for me, if someone's not happy, which has only happened once, I would say you know, like, I want you to be happy. Like, I
Yeah.
want to see you thriving. I want to see you growing. And if you feel as if you cannot do that here, I would like to see you do that somewhere else.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to be like, it's not working out. You got to go,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And also, if you're bringing somebody into the salon, you should already feel good about them as a stylist and having them in your space, right?
Yeah.
Good enough to communicate something like that where it doesn't have to be harsh or hateful or negative. It could be, you know, like, I don't feel as if you're happy here. I could see, you know, you're looking for something different. I think that you might have a better opportunity somewhere else.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't you can present it like that. It doesn't have to be this like huge negative blow up type of situation.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I would always say like if you don't want to be here
Don't.
then don't. Yeah. I mean, really, and it doesn't
No
have
one's
to
holding
be
you at gunpoint.
yeah. And again, it doesn't have to be bitchy or negative or like this big blow up thing. It could just be like there's something else out there for you and here is not it and I want to see you thrive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are some like topics that some salon owners have came to you that like were an issue?
Um so like stylists not understanding what the salon owner is providing for clients versus their team. So like for instance, like we have like, you know, refreshments and
Yeah.
snacks and stuff like that for the clients. For me, I don't mind if the girls are like snacking on them or like drinking the water just because like if like I need you to survive and not faint.
Yeah. And we barely eat, so there's that.
Yeah. So and like for me, I'm a big food person. Like I think everybody in the salon, like we love food. Like if we're gonna go do something as a salon, it's usually like go and eat somewhere.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that was one of them. So just
Like providing the refreshments for the clients and then the
not the
stylists are eating.
stylist. And I think that what needs to be reiterated between like salon owner versus stylist is that like it needs to be a clear picture of
Super transparent.
Yeah. Like I'm providing these things. Are these things strictly for clients? Are they for clients and stylists if need be? Like what is the boundary there? I think
Yeah.
that having clear boundaries when you hire a stylist from the get-go is important, and knowing that the boundaries are going to be respected by the stylist is really important as well. So that's something that someone's come to me about. I had somebody come to me about just being like completely overwhelmed with life, right? Like kids, husband, salon ownership, assistant stuff,
Oh, we can go into that
stylist
all
stuff.
day.
Yeah, it's a lot. There's a
Yeah.
lot of moving parts in your life, and I think it's important to have an outlet, like something where you could just, for me, it's the gym.
Yeah.
Like that's my nut hut.
Yeah.
That keeps me out of the nut hut. But I think it's important to have some kind of a outlet for yourself where you could just step away
And like
do
shut your
thing.
brain off.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
like come back to yourself. Like stop worrying about all these outside things and just have a moment to yourself.
I think finding your, because you started like all of us, we've started being hairstylists because it ended up being our passion. We ended up
Right.
falling in love with it. I mean, if you don't love it, then why are you doing it, right?
It's a really rough job if you
Yeah.
don't love it.
Exactly. And that's what I say is like when I come to the salon, like that's my home away from home. Like it's my safe space. It's
Yeah.
my like my brain shuts off. I have no toddlers running up my legs
Yes.
and like saying, "Mommy, another snack." You know what I mean? Like
Mom.
exactly. So that and the gym too is just like
Yeah.
the most mental healing thing
Yeah.
you could do.
Same. Yeah, I would say a lot of our girls feel the same way, or at least I think they do. I don't know. I
Yeah.
think
You would hope they do.
yeah, I feel the same way when I get to the salon. I'm like, okay, we're here. Like
Yeah.
now we could just focus on this, and I don't
And
have
doing
to worry.
art and like
Yeah.
making magic.
Yeah, it's almost for us. I would say it's therapeutic, right? Doing
Yeah.
hair. But yeah.
I know someone said to me before, I've told you this, like, do you have a hobby?
Oh.
Well, I don't. Do you want me to knit? I can start knitting. But also,
Hobby.
we're a jack of all trades. Being a mom,
Yeah.
a mompreneur, whatever they call it,
Yeah.
like that is a job in itself.
It's huge.
And
Yeah.
then, I mean, the hobby is the gym, I guess.
For me, I'm just trying to think like what. Yeah, the
Moving
gym.
your body.
Baking, I like to bake.
Yeah, we like holistic living and
Yeah.
that thing, like that's a hobby.
Yeah. A hobby. Interesting.
Yeah. What do you do?
I don't know.
What's your hobby?
I go to the gym and my
Honestly,
life-
like ask any woman, what's their hobby? Please tell me.
I know, right? I don't, yeah. I mean, I could think of a million things I would like to do.
Yeah,
as a hobby,
exactly.
if the time was given, but
With the time
just-
not had. you
yeah,
can't
we're
do
just
much.
not there yet. We're going to get there. We're just not there yet.
So as far as like juggling all the things and being a salon owner and being a mom and being all of the things, how do you cope?
The gym,
Yeah.
honestly. For instance, like today, I probably won't be able to go, and I just kind of have to breathe through it. It's gonna be fine.
Like thinking about it is giving you anxiety.
A little bit. A little bit. But, I mean, it's before anything, like I'm a mom and a wife.
Yeah.
Like hands down, that's where my priorities are. Like top priorities, I would say. Like I'm a wife, I'm a mom, and then I'm a salon owner.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, again, with like the mental health question, it's hard because sometimes I know things need to be done at the salon and it could be like the stupidest thing. Like, for instance, right now I'm thinking about, oh no, there's going to be someone there before me, and the coffee table, which is black, is probably dusty as hell and no one's going to dust it.
Well, no, I think we wiped it down like a couple days ago. So I think you're okay.
I know, it just gets so dusty so fast. So like, anyway, for instance, like that's the kind of stuff I'm thinking about. But this morning, my son's sick. My husband isn't feeling well. My daughter was having a breakdown this morning because she didn't want to go to school. It's, the time
Yeah.
change just happened. It feels earlier than it is. It's just a lot going on this morning. So like it wasn't until this moment where like everybody, like my family is situated, and now I could sit down and like, oh shit, the coffee table's dusty and I know it.
Yeah, when you when you used to tell me that you would wake up and go to the gym at 4:45, I thought you were batshit crazy. Not
Yeah,
gonna lie.
most people do.
And then once I started going with you, and I would go home afterwards and like start getting ready and like
Yeah.
getting things done, I'm like, holy shit, there's not enough time in the day.
Yeah.
Like, why didn't I wake up earlier?
Right. Right. So like sometimes, and I've been trying to prioritize my sleep a little bit more, so I haven't been going that early consistently anymore, which I'm totally okay. It was kind of a mental thing for me too. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not doing enough, but sleep is important.
Yeah.
Okay, so just
Yeah.
hang on here. But in the morning when you wake up and you're done with your workout by like 5:30, 5:45, and then you can go grocery shopping, you get home, you shower, get ready, you could, make the kids breakfast, prep dinner, you do all the things.
Yeah.
And then, you're done with all these things before 8 o'clock, and that's more than most people do all day.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so that was something I really was like priding myself in.
Yeah.
And I think it is great. And I think it is.
Well, especially when you're working so like long hours, you know what I mean? You don't really have time after you pick up the kids from school or daycare and then going home. Like there's a short window between that and bedtime.
Totally. Yeah. Especially for me, I don't know. That's something I'm working on is figuring out my schedule, how I could be a little bit more at ease with my schedule instead of just like go, go, go constantly.
Yeah.
So we're just figuring that out because it is hard. Like the moment you wake up at 4 a.m. and then you have all these things to do, and then you drop the kids off, and then you go to work, and then, it's like you are done with work. You pick the kids up, you go home, you make dinner, homework, bedtime. It's like there's literally not 1 second to spare in the day.
Yeah.
And it's really hard. So I've been trying just to like bring how many days a week I work down, and then also not minimize, but like do 2 clients a day.
Yeah.
Because that makes it a little bit more, like I feel like I could breathe a bit more.
Yeah. And then you can work on like the back end stuff.
Which is necessary.
And you love doing the social media aspect of that too. So like that gives you a little bit more time for that. And you can go to the gym later if we have an extra hour in the afternoon, like things like that, which is a beautiful thing.
I do love going to the gym early afternoon because it's completely dead.
Oh, so nice.
It's so nice.
How do you deal with like imposter syndrome in the workspace?
I don't have an answer for that because I still struggle with every day, even right now. So
she's incognito, guys. And her all black.
And my all black with my black hat, and I'm zipped up all the way. The hat is mostly because I have my scalp serum on, and it's just looking a little rough. We gotta wash our hair. Imposter syndrome. I feel like that's something that
everyone struggles
with, and even if you're struggling because you're growing, and then you get to that next level, and then you struggle with it again, and then you grow again. It's like a constant, something you have to constantly be working on. But I feel like to an extent that's kind of healthy.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
I feel like I got in this point of like my career to where it's like, what's next? It's like, what am I going to learn next? Because I can't stay stagnant. It freaks me out. It gives me anxiety. Yeah. It's like, which is great to bounce off you a little bit too, because I feel like you like to learn new things too, and I won't be alone.
Yeah.
But I was like, who am I? Like who really am I?
I know has someone ever asked you that question? Like, who are you? Who is Aaliyah?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like,
no, for sure. I've recently gotten that. I'm just like, well, I'm a mom. I'm a, I guess, hairstylist.
I know it's a hard question to ask.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's where journaling helps me a lot.
Tremendously.
Yeah. And even like, Morgan has great journal prompts, but if you cannot reach her in time, Pinterest is always a good place to start as far as journal prompts go. If you're trying to deal with like figuring out who you are or some shadow work or even like, where you want to be in the future, what your ideal day looks like. I feel like sometimes I turn to Pinterest for journal prompts when I'm feeling a bit lost or just kind of like brain dead.
Yeah, I love that. or even just like on Monday, starting your week, like what do you expect from the week, you know?
Right, right.
And then it kind of sets you up for success, and then it's in your subconscious mind and like, of like, you know, you're going to do it because it's back there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It like sets you up for success.
Yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
I love that.
Journaling is like a 10 out of 10 for me. I have to. At least like 3 days a week, because I feel like it just like lets me put all my chaos down on a piece of paper. So it's like out of my brain on the paper, and then it allows me to kind of reset.
Yeah. Something that helps me too is, well, I'm naturally a little OCD. I like things to be clean. I'm a little bit of type A and type B mixed together.
Same.
Like I might not know where my debit card is or my car keys, but I have my whole day listed out in to-do lists.
Right.
But one thing that Andy Frisella had said on one of his podcasts that stuck with me, it was like, if you're doing business with someone, look at their car. Like, what does the inside of their car look like? Because that's
Is it
their
clean
mind.
and organized, or is
Yeah,
it
pretty much.
like
That's what their brain is
shit
like.
thrown everywhere?
You know what I mean? And I'm like, even at home, like your space, like making sure it's always clean and making sure my car is clean, like then my mind is clean and clearer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it sets me up for success. I feel like that helps tremendously.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not fucking picture perfect. Sometimes
I
it's
was gonna
disastrous.
say, don't judge my corner of piled up clean
Laundry.
laundry that I haven't put away, but everything else looks great.
I forgot. I think I sent you a picture one day of my, like, it literally was
a
like 6
mountain.
feet tall.
I was like taller than the window.
I don't know how. Sometimes it's just like the laundry thing is a little harder for me. I'll be honest.
Laundry's hard.
Like staying up for it. I have so many clothes though, so I'm like, I'll be fine.
Right. But it's the kids' laundry, and like my daughter goes to private school and wears uniform, so sometimes I'm like, oh shit, I didn't wash her, like, you know, her chapel skirt or something. I have to wash it, you know. But yeah, I'm same. The laundry. If I could pay someone to come and wash and dry my laundry and put it away, the putting it away part
is the worst
the struggle.
Part. Yes.
I don't know why that's like the worst thing on my to-do list, but like I'll push that off for days.
Ugh, amen.
Everything else is great. I can't cook in a kitchen if it's dirty or if there's dishes in the sink. I gotta like make sure it's a clear slate before I begin. Like clean up one mess before you start another.
Yeah,
is what I tell my kids.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, sometimes my brain is just so like, like let's do this, let's do this, I have to do this, and I can't get it out of my brain until it's going on, and then when you hear mommy, 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 you know,
it's a lot.
It's definitely overstimulating, and then going to work and doing it all again, it's like you're in the motion and you're like a robot, but I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah, same. It is a lot, but it's very rewarding for sure, especially at the end of the day when everyone's like, you know, the kids are like tucked in and you're just like laying in bed and you're like, okay, today was a good day. We got the thing done.
Yeah. Our mental health was good.
Yeah.
We're happy.
Let's do that again tomorrow. And then like a wrench is thrown in your game, which is fine.
And then your jacket gets stuck on the doorknob and you're like, wow.
That's the
all
worst.
pissed off.
Yes.
So reverting back to like this glamorous life that hairstylists put on and things like that and breaking the mold, how would you recommend doing so? How would you recommend breaking the mold?
I just feel like transparency. I think like, listen, at the end of the day, I don't care like how much money you make. As a hairstylist, I hope and pray that you are coming out positive with your
funds
transactions because it's easy to not.
Yeah.
You know, we don't think about all the little things we're spending money on. Like, I'm talking like little things, like the bag you put your client's products in.
Yeah.
The tissue paper you use to make it pretty. You know what I mean? Like, really what it is, it's a math equation, and we're not, like, by nature as creatives, mathematics. Like, we're not strong in mathematics.
We're artists. We just want to make everything pretty.
Yeah, and so I think that that's really important. I forgot your question.
Like, what would you say? Yeah.
Okay, so at the end of the day, I hope your bank account is positive and your transactions and your profit margin is at least 20%. And that you're just a good person and you're not trying to just get over on people either.
I feel like that's what it comes down to at the end of the day is authenticity.
Yeah, I think it's so easy to glamorize this industry, but like I'll be real with you, like I drive a Kia and I went to the grocery outlet yesterday. Okay? Like I like the finer things in life, don't get me wrong, but at the end of the day, it's like you have to be smart about where you're spending your
Yeah.
money and how you're making it and
Don't let her
all
fool you.
that
She
kind
loves
of
a good
thing.
nugget run, but being
Yes.
responsible with it.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I think it's totally glamorized, but I do find that when I share my stories like maybe yesterday if I shared that I went to the grocery outlet, which y'all are sleeping
They
on the
have
grocery
good
outlet.
stuff
I
there.
found Simple Mills. I
Have you been to
found
the Dixon one?
yes.
So good.
I found so many great brands. I'm a ingredient reader.
Yeah.
I was there with my daughter yesterday and she's like, "Mom, can we go home?" I'm like, "Wait, I have to read this."
Yeah.
So anyway, I think yeah, it is a bit glamorized and I don't know. I think more people should start showing like the real life
Yeah.
type of
I
deals.
feel like that would be so helpful for the up and coming stylists because it is so glamorized via social media, so they think that like, oh, I want to do that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's not easy. Like
Right.
it doesn't, it's not just like you show up and you just do hair. That's not what it is. That's like
Yeah.
a small fraction of what we do on a daily basis.
Yeah. And I feel like too a lot of people are glamorizing maybe not so much the hair industry, but maybe this like certain image being portrayed is glamorized to have like the fancy car and the fancy
Yeah.
house and the designer clothes and the bags and the shoes and all the things
Yeah, but
when
what did
like
they do to get there? You know what I mean?
or
Like,
are they actually there?
yeah, exactly.
Probably not.
Yeah.
And and also with that, some people prioritize like they value other things more. Like for me personally, I want to set my kids up for success when they're older and like my husband and I are not here any longer. So that to me is a priority over like what kind of car I drive or like if I have a designer bag or whatever it may be, like that kind of stuff is more valuable to me than materialistic items because those come and go.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So you know, if your stylist isn't glamorizing their lifestyle, honestly, like good for them because they might just value other things more.
Yeah.
And that's okay. And I feel like that, honestly, I feel like that should be glamorized.
And I feel like I mean, I can't speak for everybody, but for us, like we've had our clients for a long time. So
Yeah.
like it's
Totally.
family now, you know?
Yeah.
We know each other's struggles, we know each other's wins, we know it all,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And that's a beautiful thing in itself.
It is. It is. Yeah. I have a lot of clients that I've had for like, I don't know, at least 12, 15 years. And they're like, oh my gosh, look at you now. Like we've been
Yeah.
together for so long.
Yeah.
Like,
Like you see people through everything, like all of their
divorces, kids,
yeah.
opening businesses, closing businesses, quitting jobs, getting promotions, all the things.
Yeah.
So many
It's
things.
like, that's why when we say we literally don't listen to music on the way home and we're like, how'd we get here? Did I even stop at that red light? Because our brains are just like
We gotta just
mush.
processing everything and just kind of like shutting it off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But do I love the job? It's amazing.
Yeah, it is. It's great. I mean, it's great, but you have to love it because
Yeah.
it comes with a lot of things that, you don't think about, breaking down your numbers and profit margins and stuff like that when you go into Cosmo school. It's just not something that crosses your mind naturally.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you have to love it.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like we touched on a lot of great things today.
Yeah, we did. We did. So if you guys liked this episode, give us a thumbs up, share it with your bestie,
Subscribe.
maybe with your salon owner.
Yeah.
Comment. Let us know what you think and let us know about the toner bottles.
Yes, please do. All right, guys. Have a good day.